welcome. Media Men Online. I'm Dan. This is Isaiah.
What's up? What's up?
Screen Players Podcast. Got some news and such for you. I just popped this one in because I came across it about 20 minutes ago. Netflix reportedly planning bid to buy Warner Brothers. So, for anyone who doesn't know, that includes CBS, TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. So there you go. That would be an absolute disaster. We'd be leaning towards a monopoly for a company that I hate. That would also mean that they own All Elite Wrestling. That would be an absolute disaster. Why? Well, Monday Night Raw is on Netflix. All Elite Wrestling's competitor. What would happen to them? I don't know. But it would be a disaster for people who aren't like me because you want options. Netflix gets to control what they do. They just keep adding and adding to the price of it. What is it now for the middle one? Like $20?
I have no idea. I don't do Netflix. I use somebody else's. But it's
But yeah, this seems like the FCC or something would block this.
Well, I don't know, because it makes me like I miss the days when it was the only streaming service you needed was Netflix. And if Netflix buys Warner Brothers and just would add, HBO Max to its Netflix library without needing an additional subscription, that'd be great, because then, cool, I get all the HBO Max stuff I want with Netflix. But I'm thinking, what are they going to do? They're going to do the same thing that Disney's doing right now, where you can get Disney Plus, you can get Hulu, you can get ESPN. There are 3 different subscription services all owned by Disney, and you can get a Disney bundle with them. But they're 3 different subscription services. And that's what I assume would happen with this, where they get access to HBO Max and just be like, all right, you can get a bundle that has Netflix and HBO Max, but you're still going to end up paying like way more than you should for these 2 streaming platforms.
Yep. Pretty much. It's a complete disaster. So I just Netflix is who are they owned by? Is it their own company?
Yeah, I think they own themselves.
Interesting. I wonder how they got to be such dirty scumbags then. Because usually, like, you can point to when Disney turned into dirty scumbags and ESPN once new Disney owned ESPN and so on and so forth. You can pinpoint the exact moment when Marvel became a pile of trash. And it took a little while to roll, to like purge out the good. Because it was in 2014 or something like that they bought Marvel. You can tell the exact moment it all started.
Right after Endgame.
Well, 2019 was Endgame, but you had to purge out the good and bring in the bad.
It started in the
speaking of age, yeah, holy hell, that was in 2015. All new, all different Marvel. Yeah, good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
The Conjuring television series moving forward at HBO Max. So the series just ended, which I'll talk about later, the movie series. And we're going to get a excuse me. We are going to get a Conjuring series, which I think this could work on a week-to-week basis, where in the movies you see in the Warrens, they have their own like area where they keep all the trinkets that they've collected over the years to keep them away from people. I think it would be a good idea to do maybe villain of the week. How did they get this trinket? You could do a couple 2-3 seasons worth, because by the end of Conjuring Last Rites, that room is filled with stuff. So
yeah, doesn't some famous rapper or something own that, their house and all that stuff now?
Oh, I'm not sure. Like the actual Warrens.
Yeah,
house?
there was a picture of the person in front of the Annabelle doll.
Wow.
And they were like, "Yeah, I just bought this place." Let's see here.
I'm wondering if
it's not
Wilson...
It was Matt Rife, if you know the comedian.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, he bought the Warrens' house and all their collection of stuff.
Hmm.
So like he had a well, and it's funny. That's how much the Conjuring's gone to me. Is I said he took a picture in front of their Annabelle doll. He took a picture in front of the Raggedy Ann doll because that's actually what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool. We'll keep an eye out on that. I'll definitely watch that. Oh, this is a good one. Did you see this?
Yep.
Man pees on members of the audience at a Demon Slayer showing. And this is a video, if you'd like to watch it,
No, thank you.
of the guy getting his ass beat by multiple people.
Oh, I don't.
They jump on him while the movie's playing. And someone's recording from behind. Well, the first guy absolutely pummels this dude, which deservingly so, because I'm telling you, I don't care who you are. I mean, unless it's like a child. But if a child did it to me, I'm slapping the dad. I'll tell you right now.
He didn't just pee.
You pee on someone, that's a reason to get your ass beat.
Yeah, I saw another Demon Slayer story where a theater called the police on a bunch of kids who went into the theater.
Oh,
Like a bunch of
Jesus.
like 12, 13-year-olds went into it and they're like, we're gonna call the police.
Yeah. But yeah, that's... Yeah, anyways. I got another Demon Slayer one here. Might as well talk about it now.
Yeah, I did.
Demon Slayer Infinity Castle made U.S. box office history with a $33 million opening day, including $11.4 million previews, which means the Thursday prior, which finally broke the record, the U.S. record, held by Pokemon the movie from the late 90s, held for 26 years. Is pretty fantastic. There you go. Oh, 27 years. Sorry, 1998, not 9. I remember going there as a kid and they gave out these special edition Mew Pokemon cards. Like, you could only get it by going to the movie. And I'm sure there are people, including myself, who still have that card.
You know, Disney did that from Moana 2 for Lorcana trading card game. The difference was it was a really crappy Moana card that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
So it's worth nothing, even though there was like... And then they ended up releasing the card in a later set, too. So it's just like, cool. It's not even like a unique, cool thing or with different art.
Yeah, so they wimped out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. It was super lame. Because it wasn't even all theaters, because I know our theater didn't do it, so I didn't waste my money going to see that movie.
One thing I did enjoy about this Demon Slayer movie is every time I look at showtimes, there are more dub showtimes than sub. Finally. It's about damn time. So sick of going. I remember once, I think you were at the same show, but I went to the movie tavern.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be dub, but it was sub. And they say, oh no, but people are here to see the sub. No. On your sign, it says dub. Change it to dub. No.
They were like,
okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah, they told me, they were like, oh, it already started. We're not going to do that. I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody in this theater won't mind waiting, you know, another 5-10 minutes to see the movie they paid to see. But okay.
Right. So they end up giving out gift cards. So. All right, we'll get back to Demon Slayer shortly, but Expedition 33 has a concert going around in France with all the music, which is fantastic music. It sells out in under an hour, and now they're teasing an international tour, which, if it comes close, I assume it's going to be like in the major cities, so I probably won't go to New York City for it. But if it comes anywhere close, I'll probably go and see this. The music's so good.
Yeah, you know, you heard about the composer, right?
Yeah.
They found him on like Reddit or something.
Yeah, had never done anything like this before, and then hits a home run.
Now it's like one of the most well-respected musical artists out there.
Yeah. It's like the guy who found Kurt Warner at the grocery store bagging groceries. Puts him on his team and they win a Super Bowl. It's like kind of like that. we'll keep an update on this. So I didn't want to talk a lot about the Charlie Kirk thing. It's been over a week, and we don't usually talk politics, but it's seeped into our realm now. It's seeped into everything that we do. So the senior dev at Sucker Punch is one of the rotten souls, I'll say. And I'm not a very religious man. I don't like it's not really my thing, but these people are pretty reprehensible. But this is what happens in a greater scheme. This is what happens when you don't gatekeep, right? We were so nice at the beginning of letting all these people into gaming and comics and all of our spaces that we've had for decades. And now look where it's gotten us. You have people like this at the top. I can't zoom in, and if you want to do what you want to do and read those things, you can. I'm not going to read them because they're just pathetic, but I was on the fence about Ghosts of Yote, but I will not be purchasing this. I can let these types of things, and let me make it clear as well. I wasn't a big Charlie Kirk guy. He's not my style. If you want my style, I'll give it to you, but he's very mild, I found his stuff more boring than anything else because it was just regular debates with people who, would get a little bit overexcited and start calling him names and stuff, but he would sit there and be calm. And how that makes him a target is beyond me. He was very just mild. He's just a regular dude allowing people to talk. And now it gets him assassinated. So we haven't had an episode since this. So
I'll say a couple things for me. First, it's funny because I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was before what happened. Maybe I'd seen him in passing or heard the name, but
And by what happened, you mean some freak murdered him in front of his family?
Yeah.
In the world. Continue.
Wasn't sure what we're all allowed to say on YouTube, I guess, but it's that I didn't really know, and I can recognize that doesn't matter who did it, it's not good. But I'll also say as well, just because one person on the team tweeted something out. I've done this both ways before, by the way, where just because there's one bad apple in a huge dev team doesn't mean that they represents the whole game. But I will say that Ghost of Yotai, I'm still on the fence about the game, and it has nothing to do with this stuff. It's just because I'm thinking back to Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm just like, man, I hated the Ubisoft type stuff in that game where it was just, hey, it's the same mission, copy pasted 30 times on the map. It was only maybe 15 times on the map in this game, but I mean, it was a game that I stopped playing for a year and then came back and ended up finishing it. But I mean, who knows what happened to this person? I think you have a story in here later about somebody who had some severe consequences from tweeting some stuff like this.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was the I thought I saw it, the Red Hood Rider.
Oh yeah, that's in here somewhere.
But yeah, it's a crappy thing for somebody to do, and I hope they are.
But here's the thing for me: if it was one person, this person would have been canned immediately. It's not. This is how these things work. But also, it's a senior dev, and when it's the same thing with the whole Jimmy Kimmel getting fired thing. Jimmy Kimmel is a representative of ABC every time the cameras roll on his stupid little show that nobody watches. Well, no, 0 people watch it now, but we get more viewers than Jimmy Kimmel right now. So I'd like to talk to him about some stuff. Anyways,
I've always just that way.
You are full representing ABC. And in this case, a senior developer, if this was a tester or something, sure. But you are in senior development for this game, and this is how you act. You have to know that people are, I mean, it's on Blue Sky, so there's 1.1 thousand followers, which is probably a lot for Blue Sky. And that's not a shot at Blue Sky. It's just it's a newer platform, so there's not a ton of people on it.
Be honest though, you know what Blue Sky is for.
Yeah, it's for people like this. Anyone who, hated Charlie Kirk, essentially. Anyone who couldn't handle an adult conversation with someone they disagree with is on Blue Sky. And then there's few instances of people who just want to spread their message on all platforms. There's a very small percentage of people that I know personally who are on Blue Sky to spread the word. It doesn't matter who they get, a view is a view.
Oh, yeah. I guess just the last thing I'll say is it's kind of like when I look at, like, from the movie perspective, I'll watch Weinstein Company movies or, Baby Driver I still think is a fantastic movie, even though there's, I don't know what the actor's name just left my head. Kevin Spacey's, he straight up admitted to doing a lot of bad stuff where it's just like, sure, I could say, oh, he's a bad guy, I'm not going to watch that movie. But there's so many other people that worked on that movie, and I love the director, and I like a lot of the other actors in it, so I'm not going to not watch that movie just because there's one guy in it that I disagree with. That's just my perspective.
It's definitely not one guy. Definitely not.
If I see more, then that will change things. But I'm that kind of person, though, and I'm not saying that everybody has to be that way either. I understand that that's just my perspective. I really respect people who decide that, hey, I don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. I'm not supporting that thing. I am in full support of that. It's just kind of my perspective on things.
I can't find the thing. What? Where was the one about? Oh, the Red Hood right there. Right there, right?
Yeah.
What the hell? Damn it. Cut this. Apparently I didn't pull it up. I don't like talking about shit like this, but it's got to be talked about.
I mean, this whole situation was ridiculous. And I don't know if you heard the latest news that just happened like yesterday. They doubled down. The writer doubled down.
Oh. Cool.
Like, I was in the right, and it's wrong that they did the... It's like, sure.
I love the whole free speech discussion.
Yeah, they pulled their... They're actually telling people who bought the comics to please return them, or stores that don't sell these things, please send them back to us.
So, as we get into this, we'll talk about this now. So, there's a lot of discussion about free speech being allowed and things like that. There's a ton of discussion. And by the way, when you do that, that comes through. So I don't know if you're trying to pull back or what. But
I think I was muted. Did I hit it too late?
No. So while we're on that subject, we'll get into this. But there's a lot of discussion about free speech and the Jimmy Kimmel thing and people like this, who we'll get into in a moment, and the person we just talked about. Now, the rule that we have at the job that I work and the job that Isaiah used to work is that you can do whatever you want on social media, but if you attach the company that we worked at to your social media, then you're responsible for what you say and can be fired for it. But if you don't make the connection on that social media, then you can say whatever the hell you want. Because once you make the connection that you work at X, you work at, sorry, not X, the Twitter company, but you work at insert company here, then you can be fired for what you say or do on your social media. And it has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with these places don't want the headache. So, DC Comics cancels Red Hood. There was a new Red Hood series that just started. Literally, issue 1 just shipped out. and it's Gretchen Felkner Martin for the same exact reasons that we just spoke of. They canceled Red Hood. They didn't fire her, but they canceled her. And so promoting hostility. There's a lot of talk about calls to violence is a lot of this part. I don't like the censoring of words, even especially words I don't like. You know, people I don't like saying whatever they want. But you are responsible when you're attached to this company for what you say. If you have a separate X account or a separate Blue Sky account that doesn't say, hello, I'm the writer of this, DC Comics, believe it or not, wants to sell comics. They don't want to alienate people. Well, this is new for them. They didn't care about alienating people, 5 years ago or whatever. But if you have the freedom to say whatever you want, but your company doesn't have to, you're free under American law to say what you want, but your company can fire you for whatever they want.
Freedom of speech doesn't mean you have zero consequences at all. It just means that you're not going to be sent to jail for saying stuff.
Right. And you're not getting punished by the people who say you have freedom of speech. You're getting punished by the company you work for. And this person's punishment, Gretchen, I assume it's a female, but I guess that could get me in trouble. If I was in England, I could be arrested for it. So Gretchen Felker Martin, DC Comics actually did a good thing. So they sent out, when comic stores buy comics, let me just real quick, if you see comic books on the shelf at a comic book store, those are already paid for by the comic store. So DC, if you see a pile of Red Hood comics on the shelf, DC got their money for those. The comic store is who suffers when they aren't purchased off the shelf. So DC said, we're canceling all Red Hood issue 2 and 3 orders. And if you would like refunds on your Red Hood 1 orders, we will give you that as well. Either in credit to the company, for future, or we can, I don't know, PayPal you or whatever, but it's probably more credit. Yeah. DC Comics will credit retailers for all invoiced copies of Red Hood 1, inclusive of copies that have already been sold, which is a fantastic job by DC. So, sorry, that was a bit long-winded, but gets me fired up when people try and play the victim. They were canceling people on the other side of the aisle for years for things. They would dig up stuff from their Twitter from 2008 and use that to cancel them. It's a very different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like what happened to James Gunn, where it's like, hey, look at this thing he said 13, 14 years ago. Let's cancel him for it. And then Disney decided to fire him. And then, I mean, if it wasn't for that moment, though, he probably wouldn't be the head of DC right now, because it's because of that he went over to DC and made stuff for them. But
yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like, are you serious? Are you serious right now?
Well, 13 years ago, that's a little soon, but 15 years ago, if you got me for stuff 15 years ago, I'm sure there was a ton of stuff that you could dig up on me if anything I said, but luckily I wasn't on Twitter 15 years ago, so that's good. But everyone says stuff that they probably shouldn't have, but it's just crazy. All right, let's get on to some fun stuff. Pull out of this, rabbit hole we're going down. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate arrives on Nintendo Switch 2, January 22nd, 2026. This is from the Nintendo Direct, which Nintendo Direct usually has a bit of fanfare around it, but this was just like game. So they were just rapid fire. It was like the old days of the Switch, with the meme of put it on Switch.
Yeah, I don't think
it's pretty fun.
Coming on here, but they just immediately opened with like, "Hey, here's the sequel movie. It's coming out in 4 months. Moving on."
Yeah. The remake trilogy will also be on Switch. So the game Remake, Rebirth. Do we know what the name of the third one is yet?
Don't know the name of the third one yet. I still think it would have been perfect if it was Reunion, but I think they mentioned that whoever made Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core didn't ask for anything and just called it Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, so they can't use that name anymore
Oh,
because they used
oh
I guess
well.
it was Final Fantasy VII Reunion Crisis Core is what they called the game. So they said, well, we can't do
Jeez.
Reunion, even though that probably would have been perfect.
Yeah. Excited for it. Let's see what else I got here. Metroid Prime 4 gets a release date. And I didn't know what the game was when it was coming through. They were showing a motorcycle, some
Thoughts on that?
motorcycle action. But yeah, go ahead. I'm just trying to pull it up without getting copywritten here. So
Yeah, I'm a huge Metroid Prime fan. I played the crap out of 1, 2, and 3 on GameCube and the Wii. And I don't know, this whole open world looking bike thing seems a little bit too far away from what I'm looking for out of a Metroid Prime game. Like, I don't know, like when I think Metroid Prime, I mean, what makes them really work is the formula from the 2D Metroids, which is you have these areas that all have different paths that all kind of weave through each other and are connected, and you kind of are looking for secrets and things that happen. And introducing a huge open world either means there's going to be a ton of stuff that it's just going to take up so much time, or it's going to be a lot of barren, empty, you know, landscapes that it just feels like a chore to go from one area to the next. Like I'm kind of thinking
yep.
like, oh, if they had Metroid Prime 3, but instead of you just going from planet to planet, now you have to physically drive the spaceship from planet to planet. And it's like either that's going to add a whole lot of stuff that seems to distract from what I like out of a Metroid Prime game, or it's just going to be a time waster. There's a small chance they can ride that fine line to actually make it entertaining. But I don't know. I saw this and I didn't get excited. I'm still excited for Metroid Prime 4 because I'm a huge Metroid Prime fan. I'm not excited for this stuff though.
Yeah, the release date is December 4th of this year, which I did not think we were getting it this year, so I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, we're both gonna get it, so regardless. Pokemon Legends EA is getting a paid DLC and 2 new Mega Evolutions. So this is annoying because everyone's frustrated. You're announcing a DLC before you release the damn game. It's a very frustrating situation because the thought is, well, why don't you just put it in the game? Why are we paying for it? It's kind of ballsy to announce a DLC before the game comes out, but if you're Pokemon, I guess you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I haven't
Legends
seen
EA.
I haven't
What's
seen
that?
DLC in a while. I thought we were done with that because like I remember the big controversy as well at the time was on disc DLC. I forget what game
Yeah.
did that where it was just like, are you serious? The DLCs, I think it was some fighting game, and the DLC characters were on the disc, and it's like, so you mean they're done already? You're just gonna time when they get unlocked? Like, why aren't they just a part of
Jesus.
the game? Yeah, like I remember that was the thing, like
Unbelievable.
on disc DLC, day one DLC. It's like, why? Yeah, like you said, why isn't it just a part of the game? The
Yeah.
whole point of DLC is, hey, you played the whole game. While you're playing the game, let's work on some new stuff for you.
Right. That's what FromSoft does. And FromSoft's DLCs, I would never complain about them. They're all worth it. October 16th, by the way, is the release date for that. But yeah, it's garbage to do that because you got to give it, and you can't announce this on the release of October 17th either, or October 16th. You got to wait. Even if it's all done, just don't insult the people by doing this. Do you want to explain this? I don't know. YouTube has a big issue right now. I'm not sure.
Oh wait, that I might have linked the wrong video or something, but
No.
he's talking about the video that I wanted to talk about. Um, it's a video by Josh Strife Hayes. Like I said, I probably
Is
just
it
shared the
this
wrong.
guy?
Yeah, that guy. So Josh Strife Hayes, he's a big like MMO, but he doesn't just do MMOs. He does other stuff. But a big content creator in that
Does he wear a
space.
damn suit every day?
Just in these big videos he does like this.
Yeah.
He's usually like he doesn't post a lot on his main channel. Yeah, he does a lot of streaming, and he's usually like, yeah, I mean he dresses up a little bit because that's his whole thing is like, oh, I'm a very refined British man, and I speak very particularly about things. But he people noticed on YouTube that views since I think it's like August 10th dipped for everybody, and they're like, what's going on? YouTube said they didn't change anything, but a lot of people at first thought it was that, oh, YouTube is auto turning on restricted mode for a lot of people. Turns out that wasn't the case. It looks like what's happening because he did a lot of digging and looked into this across many different channels and noticed that the only thing that's decreasing is views on PC. So like the views for mobile, for TVs, and I think like console systems views haven't changed at all with their relative spike. So it's like for him, he was like, PC views are always this high, and you look at all the views, and they always follow the same pattern where this one's higher, but they all bump up. And then you look at the PC views on August 10th, and all of a sudden it dips down from for him being his number one most like source of views to the third most highest. And it looks like what's happened is YouTube has changed. Sorry, I jumped a little bit ahead. The other thing he figured out was revenue for videos has not changed. People are still making the same amount of money off of videos. It's only the views that have changed. So what they're pretty sure is happening is that YouTube, or like the way that ad block works now, because a lot of things have been updating back and forth, is that they're not counting ad blocked views as views. So if you watch YouTube with an ad blocker, it's no longer to count itself as a view. Something along those lines. So, and it is a big deal for some of the bigger YouTubers or people who are starting to take off because a lot of sponsorships will make deals based off of the view count, or like the success of your sponsorship will matter on the amount of views that it gets. So a video could be getting more views or should be getting more views than it might be showing because the person has ad block. So it's since August 10th. There's been a lot of, like I said, deep diving investigation, and he had a series of 3 videos that he had come out like over the course of a week, where it was kind of like, hey, I think like the first or second one was, hey, I need people to send me your data and information so I can compile all this so I can confirm that this is what's actually going on. And with his most recent one, it was like, yep, you can look at all these examples of all these, because he's like, it's not just different examples of people in the thing. He said you have to look at it where it's like, who are the kind of people using ad block? It's affecting those types of videos because like kids videos or shorts aren't being affected. It's long form content with a more mature focused audience. Those are the ones that are seeing all these happen to them. So it's like that aligns with people who have the knowledge or would typically be the ones with ad block. But yeah, no, it's kind of insane, just how things are changing, just like that. So it's like, oh yeah, a video could have way more views, but YouTube's not counting them. Or I guess it's not a YouTube thing. They think YouTube didn't change anything. It's ad block. The way that ad block is interacting with YouTube changed. So that's kind of what's been going on. But yeah, no, it's a little crazy of a situation, especially for us since we have our channel here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Wow. That's ridiculous. Oh, I guess I threw that in the middle of these other ones. Resident Evil 7, 8, and 9 will all come out on the same day on Nintendo Switch, February 27th, which is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
The more I think back to it, I don't know if I'd say Resident Evil 7 is my favorite Resident Evil. I will say it was my favorite experience playing a Resident Evil game, though, because I played it in VR, and I don't know, just the tone and everything for that game, especially coming off of 6. Man, that game's super fun. 8's still a lot of fun, though. Definitely heavily leans more towards the action. Like it's the Resident Evil 4. If Resident Evil 7 was kind of like going back to 1 and 2, 8 goes to like 4, where it's definitely more action focused. 9 looks very interesting. Apparently, I don't know if you've heard this about 9, but this will be the last game that Leon will ever show up in. Is the thing that's going around
allegedly.
Yeah. Well, that makes me think they might be killing him off in this game.
I'm just trying to think of how this will play on Switch in handheld mode. Obviously, in desktop mode, it'll be, no different, but I'd
Well,
be
it's just on the
interested to
Switch
play
2,
this.
right?
Huh?
It's just on the Switch 2, not on the Switch 1, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that
I don't think the
it's
Switch
definitely,
1 could handle it.
yeah, it's definitely going to be probably toned down a little bit, but um I know, I think it's cool that you're getting these bigger games on the Switch 2. I don't know, I'm excited for Resident Evil 9. I didn't see anything about
Yeah.
it, and then I'll get into it more later, but just recently, like a couple days ago, like went through all the game shows that I missed and saw all these trailers I had never watched. I'm like, wow, I'm excited for this game now.
Yeah. All right. And the last thing, the biggest thing for me on the Switch, on the Nintendo Direct, was Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave 2026 release date. So, seemingly, because there's a couple characters that cross over from Fire Emblem Three Houses, so it seems like we'll be getting a continuation from that game. So I'm pretty excited. I play that Fire Emblem. It's probably my favorite Fire Emblem game. Three Houses. I played it more than most games, the exception of like Destiny 1 and 2. I put hundreds and hundreds of hours in that one, played all the different, versions multiple times. It's absolutely fantastic. They do a proper balance of both the interaction, like the character to character stories, along with the battling, so it makes the game feel properly balanced. Some of the other Fire Emblems don't exactly do that, but this one nails it, and I'm hoping that they stick with that, because the one that came out after it, which was called, what was the most recent one called? Engage, didn't have a lot of that character development. It had some, but not as much as coming after Three Houses didn't have as much. It was more gameplay focused, and the gameplay was fantastic, but it kind of had a little bit missing there. So
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was excited for the game until I saw Sothis at the end, and I was like, really? And I don't know, I think I might be weird, but I prefer it when Fire Emblem does something different every iteration and
yeah,
something new. And I feel like, oh, people liked Three Houses. Let's make another game that's, because it's not even just like another game that's set in the world of Three Houses. It feels like, I don't know. It's like, why are we seeing Sothis again? I don't know. For me, that kind of got me less excited. I don't know why. And I don't mean to say this as like, oh, you shouldn't be excited either. It's just a weird me thing, maybe. Um,
yeah,
but I've also been of the mind, and I'm not going to get too much into this because we have a lot to cover still. But
yeah,
I feel like or not, sorry, geez, not Three Houses. I feel like Fire Emblem stylistically has changed to something less appealing to me as like the graphics have gotten better. I don't know. It's just like I look at like the trailer for this game, and just something feels so like overproduced compared to like my favorite Fire Emblem game, which is Awakening, or like even like Fates. I don't like Fates that much, but even then, it like I don't know. The games feel like I think it's a character thing, and Three Houses really got away with this in the first half, and then the second half is where the problem kicked in, where it's like, hey, we have these really cool character designs. Now let's just like crank them up to 100. So like for the post time skip stuff, I really feel like they over designed the characters, and then like Engage, all the character designs are way over designed. I like the princess from like the sand place, where it's like she has these multicolored like baubles all over, and I'm just like, what is up with these designs? And I kind of got the feeling when I was watching this trailer too, where it's like, I don't know, I felt like the character designs back, in the older games felt a little bit more consistent and grounded. Like the I was talking about with a friend of mine. I was like, you look at Engage, and it's like, hey, here's this prince and their two retainers, and they don't look like they come from the same nation at all. They're over designed. Whereas you look at a lot of the characters from like Awakening or like Fates had this, where it's just like the Hoshido character, not Hoshido. I think that was it. Yeah, but the Nora characters all looked like they came from the same nation, and same with the I believe it was Hoshido characters. And now everybody has to be super specifically designed, and I think that's slightly less appealing to me. But maybe you could just see this as me as nitpicking because Sure, like I agree with you. Engage's story was not great, and the characters were way less interesting than Three Houses characters. But the gameplay was really good, and that's what made me enjoy playing the game, and why I beat that game is it's super fun to play. So I'm hoping this one's still fun to play. I just kind of realized, like, man, I kind of miss the old days of Fire Emblem. Alrighty, so I was able to catch Demon Slayer not right when it came out, but a few days afterwards. So I don't think I was part of that 33 million. But I don't know. It was weird because I was going into this movie and I was feeling a little conflicted because I don't like that they're turning it into a set of three movies because it's supposed to be three movies and we're getting one now. I don't think they've announced when the next one's coming out, so I'm like, unlike an arc in a TV show where it's okay, I can start watching it now and I'm gonna get to experience a piece of it week to week to week until it, comes to an end. Or you had like a Mugen Train where you got the complete story in a single movie. This one is an entire arc split into three parts, and I will tell you, it feels like that. However, there are parts of this movie that are very, very well executed, but there are also parts of this movie that kind of shows why doing the move, like, this set of three movies this way isn't the strongest. Because I'll say, without really spoiling the movie, it's kind of split into three sections, which is, three different fights. And I'll tell you, one of the fights with the, backstory, I mean, you can really tell how repetitive this is, where it's like, fights a demon, shows the demon's backstory, maybe jumps a little bit into the character's backstory as well, who's fighting them. And it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing, I feel like I've seen this 100 times. And it's not interesting. I'll tell you, the first fight, I won't say who it is or whether it is, but the first fight with the flashback stuff that they showed it didn't get me at all. I didn't care that much. Um, and the other thing is that fight isn't resolved in this movie. You're gonna have to wait to the next movie to see that resolved, I guess. Second fight. I was interested a little bit more, but my problem with it was, oh, look at this deep backstory that has existed throughout the entire show for some reason, but I've only become aware of it now. Now, maybe it's because it's been so long between seasons and I've seen it, but I feel like that this relationship hasn't really been brought up much, if at all, except for maybe the last arc. It might have been in the Hashira training arc, but that arc was so extended and not great that I don't remember a lot from that one, to be honest. However, where this movie really shines and really gets you and shows, and it's funny because you'd think, oh, maybe I get annoyed of the flashback stuff as the movie went on. No, the best one is the last one. Probably like the last half of this movie, and it is 2.5 hours long, by the way. It is, a very meaty movie. They have a lot to get through. But it is some of the best stuff that Demon Slayer has done. Probably my favorite stuff that they've done besides like the end of the Mugen Train arc, which is some of the best stuff. Like the whole Rengoku, the fight, just visuals, the meaning behind it. I don't know. It just really got me. And the only thing that I guess is slight tiny spoilers, but it's not really a spoiler. I'm not telling you exactly what happens, but people have complained about the Akaza backstory being too long and how it, oh, I want you to get back to the action. I don't understand people like that. I think we talked about it last week when it came to like the Blair Witch Project, where there's people who don't like that movie because, oh, nothing happens in that movie, and it's like, well, stuff happens. It's just not, action scenes or stuff for the movie. It's just interesting story, or for Blair Witch, it's vibes. For this movie, it's just like great character development and understanding, and just really good writing. And I don't care if we've cut away from the action. What you see happen builds what's happening in the fight. So when you cut back to it, that's like how proper flashbacks, like that. When I think of those, I think of like Naruto type stuff, where or One Piece, where it's like, hey, we're in the middle of a scene and let's cut to a flashback to give us context. the reason why they work so well in that one is because it gives you context for the characters so you understand them better and leads to the next part of the fight. And that's what that does with this one here. And I think the way that they paced it out and had it sewn throughout the fight complemented every escalation of the fight. Um, can't recommend this one enough. It is very good. Like I said, there are some problems with it. I don't think the movie is as solid as the Mugen Train arc because Mugen Train feels like a complete arc from beginning to end. This one feels a little I don't know, a little repetitive. But the big positive of it is it gets better as the movie goes on, and I am excited to see what we're getting next.
I had the choice to see Demon Slayer or I could see The Conjuring Last Rites, and I figured I'd see one yesterday and one this weekend, so I ended up going with The Conjuring. So, how do I put this without... This movie is very good in terms of wrapping up the story of the Warrens. It introduces a couple new characters who are, I would say, integral to the story. There's a lot of heartwarming stuff in here. There's some tragedy. There's some weird. So the concept in this one, in most of the movies, they have a totem or something where the demon is in, and this one is a mirror. So I guess I'll tell a little bit of the story. So in the beginning of the movie, we get a scene with the Warrens and their younger Mrs. Warren's pregnant. Lorraine, I forgot her first name for a second. My brain's still foggy. I've been sick for 5 days, so, you know, that's how it goes. But Lorraine's pregnant. There's an incident. They have an interaction with the mirror, which could possibly cause the death of the baby that's inside of her. So there's that whole story. The mirror shows up later on, so that's the connection. The interaction while she's pregnant, and then the mirror shows up later on with this family of like 7 or 8 people that live in this smallish house. And they have nowhere to go. They can't move out. Everyone's, you know, we're all against ends meet and all that stuff. It's just a normal family. This is set in the 80s. And the mirror is the connection between the Warrens and this new family. So the movie, the trailers portray this movie as, oh, this is the one that tore the family apart, all this stuff. The movie doesn't give me that. I think it wants you to be... This is the last case of the Warrens. It wants you to think that something so horrible happens that it's unrecoverable. And I'm not saying it doesn't, but it doesn't exactly scream, maybe we should quit. I don't know. Maybe I'm double talking, but the trailers didn't match up with what the movie was. And I would say this is a 2 hour and 15-minute movie. I would say for probably an hour 40, it's a lot of buildup. And if you're impatient or, you know, lack an attention span, which I understand in this day and age, it's very difficult. You got your phone in your pocket, you know, there's a lot of slow build on the screen. You know, you want to check the news or something, or check the Eagles game. I don't know. But I thought that worked because the movie didn't feel like this. Instead of this big mega ghost that's haunting everything and, you know, could destroy the world or whatever, it felt like a celebration of the Warrens in general. They know this is the last movie. And it felt like a total wrap up, a nice little bow on the story. So I felt like it was better than people are giving it credit for. But I think people just wanted the haunty stuff that the other 3 movies had. Is it better than the others? I would say it's better than The Devil Made Me Do It. And I would say it's better than... It's probably on par with the second one. The second one was pretty good, where they go to England and help that family. But the movie itself, it's really good. There's some heartwarming stuff that, you know, it almost makes you tear up. It almost got me, tell you. But I don't know if they'll show up in the series that we talked about earlier on, but I hope so, because Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, they're both fantastic. Mia Tomlinson, I believe, is who plays the daughter. Yes, she does a phenomenal job. It's funny how they make her look so much younger. So she's 30 years old, but they make her look like she's like 20 in this, but then kind of like a youngish 20. So it's funny seeing her normal picture because she doesn't really look like her. And then this guy who plays the daughter's boyfriend, Ben Hardy, he sounds familiar. What the hell was he in? Oh, X-Men Apocalypse? Oh, as Angel. Okay, that's where I know him from.
He is Angel on that.
He's very good. He's believable. They actually don't make him... I thought he was going to end up being a dick, because his backstory is that he's an ex-cop, but I guess spoilers for his backstory if anyone cares, but he was an ex-cop, and I thought it was going to be like, oh, he's a real piece of work, but no, he quit because he nearly died on the job, and he had just met the Warren's daughter, Judy, so he quit because he didn't want to lose her, even though they just met. So there's this whole thing. It's pretty sweet, but I thought they were going to turn him into like this dude who was like slapping her around and stuff. It was really going to make it difficult to enjoy, but no, everyone's eyes on the prize, so pretty good. And the family, the Smurls, that's what they're called. I don't know if that's the actual name of the family, because all of these cases are based on real life things, but all of these families, or all of the members of the family, do a good job. The oldest daughter, she's such a biatch. Oh my god, she picks on so Heather's the second oldest daughter, and the oldest daughter just picks on her, Dawn, all the time. This gal does a good job. I've never seen her before, but the movie's good. It's very good. If you like the other movies and you have a little bit of patience, because that's what you're going to need, it's slow build into the spooky stuff, but
Much better.
It's good. It's fun. I don't remember disliking the third one, to be honest with you, but I've only seen it once, and when it came out, which was what, 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
I think I gave it like a 4 or 5 out of 10. I was just like,
Really?
I thought it was kind of boring. Was my problem with it? Just like not interesting.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
I thought it was just like very. I thought the way it ended was not fun or interesting, and I don't know.
Maybe I'll rewatch this.
It's super basic. Like, oh, it's the kind of like the Conjuring was like took a formula of like haunted house and kind of like revitalized it, and this felt like the cookie cutter thing that was happening before the first Conjuring movie came out. Or maybe I kind of grew into that phase where I kind of don't like these kinds of movies that much anymore either.
If you look at this, a 2.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and then the other one had a 2.9. Very weird. I thought it was much better than 2.9, but I think it's because people tend to be impatient, and the movie definitely had some slow bits, but they all meant something to the story, so including a ping pong scene.
Pretty.
All right.
So, as I think I mentioned last time,
let me ask you, before you start this, how long ago was this up on like
the
Kickstarter or whatever?
Like 4 or 5 years ago, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. Okay. Just checking.
It was a while ago. I mean, it's had quite the journey, though. You know, from being like an completely independent movie to, released by Neon, who helps release so many like indie horror movies now, where it's, they got Keith David in this movie, though he's in it a lot less than I thought he would be. He is in the movie, and it I don't want to talk too much about the movie because we still got over a month until it comes out. I do want to talk a little bit more so about my experience going to the movie, and also address, Dan and I have kind of fallen out of love with Chris Duckman as a movie reviewer, because he decided to change the type, the way he approaches movie reviewing ever since he became a director. I think like his stated reason was, I'm in the industry now, and I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be negative towards people who might be my coworkers in the future. Which I think, if you're going to make that choice, then you're not really a movie reviewer anymore because you're just, you know, you're deciding I'm only going to talk about things I like. Um, but I am happy to say that it did not really affect uh, his movie making skills. And something that people might not remember is like Chris Stuckman didn't start off as a movie reviewer. He made home videos that he would like post to YouTube. And I think he says his first ever home video he made was basically a shot for shot remake of Signs. It's one of his biggest inspirations. Um, and the cool thing about Shelby Oaks is it's very well made. You wouldn't know it's like, an indie directed type project. It feels like, a not I guess maybe not Hollywood produced, but it feels like a Midsummer or a Hereditary, where it feels like a big director name, and it's very well shot and has all these good things about it that makes it feel professional. Um, there's different styles to it, which makes it interesting. Um, like I said, I don't want to talk about the plot of the movie at all, but I would say overall, I did thoroughly enjoy the film. It did not, though, like reach the same level as like breakout horrors for me. So like I think of like Malignant or Barbarian, or even that came out this year, Weapons. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as those movies where it's just like they're doing something that's just so far out there that just captures you in a different way. However, for a movie that for the most part follows a very generic type of story, it tells it in a very fun and interesting way where I wasn't bored and I had a lot of fun with what was going on. I do think the ending, while not weak, isn't as strong as I would have liked. But I do think come October 2024, it is something worth seeing. And if you do go and see it, you might see my name in the credits. That was a cool thing to be able to do, and part of the experience being able to like meet uh Chris Duckman, and especially after the movie getting to talk to him about his movie for a little bit, and just like that industry was you know such a blessing and a really cool thing to be able to experience. But yeah, definitely I think if you plan on seeing it down when it comes out, something that we can talk more about then. But I just want to stay from any plot points because we are over a month away from it coming out.
Well, I'm supposed to be getting a DVD or something
Oh yeah, the
in the
Blu-ray.
mail. I don't.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
the hell?
Yeah, it's so because he talked about it. Um, like I got to see the screening this early, but they don't want to release the DVD till the movie properly comes out because then it's going to be on the internet before it even has a theatrical release.
Right.
That's how that works.
All right. So this movie actually came out today. I watched it this morning. It's called Night of the Reaper. It's on Shudder. So my Shudder subscription, about a year of it apparently. I don't know. I think it was on sale. I don't really remember, but about a year of it in November. So that's when my Shudder is out. But this movie, it's about this little mask here. This is the evil character, the serial killer who's killing babysitters. It's set in the 80s. It's absolutely fantastic. It is a throwback style movie in a throwback setting. It is very reminiscent of maybe a mixture of Halloween and Scream, because the Michael Myers in Halloween feels invincible, but this character doesn't. This character just feels more like Ghostface in that you don't really know the motives or why these babysitters are being targeted, but the acting is fantastic. The movie is short and to the point. Was I say 93 minutes? It is the perfect amount of time. There is a bit of a storyline. I don't want to call it a twist, really, because it's not. But there's like some. It's not just a basic babysitter like slasher movie. It has new elements that make this movie unique. And obviously I'm being very vague because it's brand new, and I would love anyone who can see this movie to go and see it. But it's on Shudder exclusively, I believe. Yes, a Shudder original. I think if you have AMC Plus, then you also get it because Shudder's included in that. I'm not exactly sure. But you would think, oh my god, it's a Shudder original movie. It's going to be lame, and no. This movie is so well done. I don't assume it has a large budget, but it also doesn't feel like it has a small budget. It is exactly what I was looking for, and I was so hopeful for it when, I came across every so often I'll look up like upcoming movies that don't include the theatrical releases, because obviously we get those shoved in our faces all the time, but upcoming like digital and stuff releases. And I just happened across it a couple of weeks ago. Like, this sounds exactly like what I've been wanting. And it's just, I give it very high praise. 3.3 out of 10. I guess that's kind of fair, but maybe like a 7.5 or an 8. But it's not like the best movie ever, but it's a breath of fresh air. Especially, I had just seen Conjuring like 12 hours prior, so it's so much of a change, and it's an old school style, and the movie feels very 80s, everything about it. And obviously with no cell phones, it makes the babysitter's job a little bit tougher. But yeah, Summer H. Hall, that must be the main gal. Yeah, she does a fantastic job. And she was in Chucky as Alice. Okay.
Oh, I think she's the sister. I think like the young girl in Chucky, in the Chucky
yeah,
movies. Like, because remember, like, there's the younger. I can't remember if she's her sister or cousin or something, but like like in the Cult of Chucky, she's like the little girl in that one who gets the Chucky doll, and I think she shows up, or sorry, in Curse, and then I think she shows up at the end of Curse where like Chucky reveals like, oh, I took care of her or something, so, like something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, the movie is a high recommend. Like, you're gonna be very, very happy with watching it. And then I followed it up right after I watched that one with another horror movie on Shudder, Dangerous Animals, 2025. So this movie stars Jai Courtney, who was in Die Hard 5. He was in Jack Reacher. That's the other thing I know him from. He plays
Suicide Squad, right?
Oh yeah. That's what he was.
Who was he?
He plays a lunatic, Australian lunatic fisherman guy who kidnaps women and feeds them to sharks. So
interesting.
That's pretty much the entire basis of the movie. He plays an absolutely fantastic lunatic. Picture Buffalo Bill dancing with his junk tucked between his legs level lunatic. Thankfully, he's not nude, but he's like, dancing around to Creedence or whatever the hell. And I don't even remember what song it was, but he plays a great lunatic. Hassie Harrison, I thought this was a different girl who I now can't remember, who's been in like a few horror movies, but I can't remember what her damn name was. But here in this picture, she looks like throughout the movie, she looks like a different girl that I was so sure it was the whole time. But she's okay. Her acting kind of brings the movie down for me a little bit. She's fine. But Jai Courtney's the star of the show. And he needs more work as a horror movie villain guy, because
I was gonna say, he like, I know like in Good Day to Die Hard or whatever the Die Hard movie was in, and like another action movie was in. People just didn't like him because he just wasn't very charismatic for that type of role. And then like you had him in I forget what the other there was one movie, but then also as Captain Boomerang in the Suicide Squad movies, where it's like, yeah, when he's kind of playing a crazy guy and having fun with the role, guy can be kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, he is Australian. Okay.
Yeah.
Thought he was just playing Australian characters very well, but no, he's quite good.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
People like 10 years ago were like saying like, "Oh, he's one of the worst actors out there," and being like really like down towards him. And I was just like, I just think he just is being cast incorrectly. Like they're trying to turn him into like the next Tom Cruise or something, and it's like that's just not the kind of actor that he is.
Yeah, I was pulling for him to play Black Panther. So but yeah, the movie's fun. It's kind of exactly what you think it would be based on this synopsis here, but it's, you know, I don't even have to explain. You already know what it's about. It's solid. Jai Courtney's fantastic. Hesse Harrison could have been better for sure, but the movie in general is quite good. So I would recommend that. Oh God. Real quick, Destiny 2 had an update, Ash and Iron, and I've been dabbling in it. And it's still got all the same problems that it had before, including now some game-breaking glitches that people are using sword like this. If you pick up a sword and the ammo is empty, it's got to be a specific type of sword, and you jump slash, it takes like 100,000 damage off of the enemy, which is like a quarter of their health. Total game breaking glitches. So people are like speed running the raids now and stuff with just swords, and you know, it's strange. But during the Ash and Iron video, like the trailer that they dropped, they had all this cool stuff. There's like a Star Wars thing coming, and like a legit Star Wars crossover, all sorts of this new stuff that they're adding, but none of it is in the game yet. It's all like time gated, delayed stuff. So the beginning launch of this feels very bare. Iron Banner's this week, and it's quite boring. The player count seems to be down by quite a bit, and I don't blame people because I'll sign in. I'm like, all right, I could do some stuff, try and catch up on my level. A, the grind is atrocious, and B, I just don't have the motivation. The game is just, it's just kind of there. And this new thing, the Plague Lands, is returning from Destiny 1, which the Plague Lands were Siva. The Plague Lands had that raid that we all love that I'm just drawing a blank on now. What's the what is it?
Wrath of the Machine.
Yes, Wrath of the Machine. None of that's here, but they use the Plague Lands as a like an area to do this new activity. The activity is pretty decent. It's not horribly boring, but it's too long. There's just, it feels like it takes so much of my time to even go up even one level. And I don't understand how anyone who's not a streamer or, you know, plays this game for a living, what have you, I don't understand how any of them are max level. It doesn't make any sense. This game, it's such a drag to go through this. And they do this thing called the portal now. I'll be quick with this. The portal is basically an activity selection screen, so you don't have to go to all the planets that you used to. But now during the portal, when you select an activity, it'll say achieve a rank of B or higher to earn this weapon. So let's say you're level 200 and I'm level 300. In order to get a B rank on level 200, you just play the mission and you're good. But on 300, you have to increase the difficulty. Then you have to go through and select all these modifiers to say, okay, no ammo to start, no this, no that, no HUD you can do, to make it more difficult so that you can possibly get a B rank to then get the drop that you want. it's very irritating because the other day I think it was yesterday. I've had a lot of time to play it this week because I've been sick, but basically been in bed for 4 days. So essentially, I went and I added all these modifiers to make it more difficult. Then I get through the mission and I don't get a B rank, so then I don't get the drop, and it was a total waste of time. It's just so aggravatingly, painfully slow and boring to grind in this game. The only consistency I see in terms of drops is playing PvP. The raids don't even drop consistently, like higher level. They had it to where the raids were not dropping higher level stuff. The raids, what the hell are we doing? The raids are supposed to be the pinnacle of everything. But what the hell do I know? I've only been playing the game for 11 years. Jesus. Oh, there's the portal. There's an image of the portal right there. So you can go and select Solo Ops, Fire Team, Pinnacle, or Crucible. And then once you go in, let me see if they have an image of it. They don't. But essentially, you just pick everything from there. It makes the game more streamlined, which in turn makes the game feel less like an MMO and more just like a solo game. So I don't know. It's boring. It's really hard to get the motivation for it. And the only reason I haven't, bailed on it is because there's nothing really else to play right now. So, all right, that's my Destiny update.
I'll keep this one nice and short. Genshin Impact had its 6.0 update, so the big yearly update where they release a brand new area, brand new story, brand new characters, all that cool stuff. And this one's especially unique because there's a lot of the game that's changing with this. Some big updates to the way things work, even to the point where every single update has always been like, it's I can't remember the exact title they did, but it was like this 2, this 3, this 4, and this one's called the name of the patch is like Luna 1, as if it's the start of something new. And I talked briefly about it, but the cool thing about this patch, and especially like this upcoming year, is it's a lot of stuff in the story that's been mentioned or talked about finally coming to prominence, especially like characters that we've heard since the beginning of the game are actually going to be playable characters now. And that's kind of what had me very excited for this. Usually when you come to a new nation, it's a brand new story. We're kind of from square one. Whereas this is like, hey, all these things that we've been building up for the past 5 years are now going to be kind of converging here. I haven't been able to get through all the story because with my new class starting up and homework and a lot of the traveling and other stuff I've been doing, it's taken up quite a bit of my time. But I will say that it is fun to explore. I do like a lot of the ideas they're doing. I just haven't gotten far enough into the story to really get into the nitty gritty and some of the stuff I've been looking forward to. But I am having fun with the new updates. Something I can't believe it wasn't in the game before this, where it's like, hey, characters have unique dialogue with NPCs. Or you can just run into the characters that you pull out in the open world now and have conversations, or see them doing their thing in the world. Crazy that hasn't been a part of the game up until now, but I've liked just running into a random character and being able to interact with them, and then being able to go up to somebody where it's like, oh, you have special dialogue because you have this character in your party. I like that stuff, and that they've added that. So I'll probably update more once I've actually been able to finish the full story. But so far what I've gotten, I've enjoyed.
Nice. All right, I think we got a few of yours coming. Yep.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. Finally finished Iron Fist Season 1. I think I talked about it like a month ago or so, saying that I just started rewatching it again. As you could tell from me, when I watched the Punisher TV show, I basically watched like each season over the course of a week or two. This one took me like over a month. It is nowhere near as solid as the Punisher shows. Nowhere near as exciting. I think the choreography isn't as fun, and the character just isn't as interesting to see do things as it was the Punisher. I still enjoyed it, but it's kind of weak. I'll get into the second season. It was interesting seeing the guy who plays the Master in Doctor Who popped up as Davos in this, and I completely forgot he was in the show. So it's fine, but definitely a lot weaker. Well, I've heard season 2 is better, so I guess we'll see how that one goes. I just haven't gotten around to starting it yet. Fate Stay Night. I watched the first season of this with my friend who hadn't seen it before. Last time I probably watched this was over like 15 years ago. It's not great. It is definitely, you can tell somebody where it's like, hey, this is a visual novel. Let's adapt it into an anime. Except they don't adapt it, they just turn it into an anime. There's so much stretches of like talking, exposition, exposition, exposition. And that's because what visual novels are. It's just a lot of just we're talking about things and having to explain things because we don't really do a lot of action. Now there is some fun action, and the reason why I kind of didn't force my friend, but I suggested we watch this before everything is it does lay down a lot of good groundwork in context for the shows that are going to come afterwards. Um, so we're going to start watching Fate Zero next. But it's not a bad show. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 maybe. It's slightly above average. But the fact that they thought this was going to be the only show they make and that they slightly kind of like interweave into it aspects of the other routes makes it kind of confusing. Or things just are brought up out of nowhere with no build up. Kind of is a little unfortunate, but it's still fun. The voice acting's pretty good. The openers are bangers. If you want to get into the series, I do recommend watching this one first, though it will take like you just have to understand it's very wordy, very exposition-y, and it's very like 90s, early 2000s in feel. Like I know it's a 2006 anime, but it feels very 90s, early 2000s with the way that it's presented.
All right. One more.
Alrighty. So, probably one of my favorite shows from the past decade was Peacemaker season 1. I think, I think we've said this before, but John Cena is, as Peacemaker is like one of the best, superhero characters out there. Stole the show in, the Suicide Squad. Apparently, it came out that it was supposed to be Dave Bautista playing the role, but he had another project, so they got John Cena instead. I'm
Thank
like, man, did
God.
we dodge a bullet there? And even Dave Bautista said, if I had done that role, it would have sucked. This is a role made for John Cena. Um, where it's like, yes, that he is amazing in this, and I've got to say, for season 2, I really like the character work they've done with Peacemaker, and this is kind of my halfway checking in point here. My problem with season 2 compared to season 1 is the cool thing about season 1 was all the side characters, all these people you see on the poster, have an integral role in the show. And yes, Peacemaker is the main character, but it did feel kind of like an ensemble piece where, he's the guy standing in front, but all these other characters kind of added to the show. And season 2 really doesn't know what to do with most of these characters, I feel like. Especially Adebayo, who was kind of like, our audience insert in the first season where it's just like, oh, she's a brand new character and is new to this team and she doesn't know what's going on, and she's kind of having to develop as a character as the show goes on. She doesn't really have anything to do in this season, and I think the person who gets the worst is Vigilante, who is supposed to be like Peacemaker's best friend, and he has such great like interactions and things he does in the first season, and I feel like he just shows up in the second season to say a funny line, and that's it. Now I've heard that I've watched up to episode 5 at this point. Episodes 6 through 8, they didn't send out any release screening for or any like promotional footage or anything, I guess, because they've said like that's where the show kind of changes, does something different. So maybe all this groundwork is going to build to a second half that pays off. And I don't want this to sound either like I'm disliking the show, because it's still very, very good, very entertaining. What they do with like Peacemaker in this show, I mean, first off, just shows like how great of an actor John Cena is. He is amazing with the emotional depth that he has of this character. But I'm really hoping they pay off with a lot of these other side characters, because I really feel like they haven't really gotten to shine like they did in the first season. So it's like if the first season's like a 9.5 out of 10, I do think yes, this season's probably like an 8 out of 10 so far for the first half. We'll see where it goes from here. Not as good as the first season, but it's still very entertaining and I can't recommend it enough.
All right. And I've been watching X-Files as well, and just wanted to bring up a couple of things specifically. There's one episode where they do a total like flashback episode to all of these conspiratorial things in terms of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Was who actually did it, all this stuff, and they play it out in a separate way, leaning into said conspiracy. They do the same thing in the same episode with Martin Luther King Jr., who actually killed him. Was he set up in terms of the rumors behind him screwing around on his wife? All sorts of these things, like to try and defame him, which was so weird to watch, because especially with the Martin Luther King, I didn't even know about the conspiracy aspect of that. So it was just a really strange episode. And season 5 as a whole, I don't really know what's going on, because there are at least 3 episodes that I've seen so far where Mulder and Scully are not in it but for about a minute. And then there's other episodes where it's just Scully or just Mulder. So I don't know what the hell was going on with the production of season 5. The only thing I came across was that it's possibly because that's the same year the movie came out, and they had, production issues that way, but it just seems so disjointed. And I really do not enjoy the episodes where neither of them are in it. And there were 2 or 3 so far, and I'm about halfway through season 5. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but it just feels very strange. I guess for a strange show, it kind of fits. But the episodes with the 2 of them, the production quality's better. You can tell that they've made some money off of the first 4 seasons, so it's starting to ramp up a bit. It just feels just disjointed is the only word that comes to mind. I don't know what they're thinking with some of these, but that episode that I was talking about with the conspiracy assassinations, that's part of it. So Mulder or Scully aren't in that at all. It's about the guy it's an entire backstory episode about the guy who is kind of like their inside man. He's kind of like is it this dude? Yeah, the cigarette smoking man. That's him. Mm-hmm. But it just feels really strange, and I hope they get back to normal at some point soon. I've never seen the movie either, so I'll probably watch that, but the show's good. It's still very good. I don't particularly enjoy those types of episodes. There was also one that was entirely in black and white, and I didn't vibe with it at all. And I think they did it because it was an episode about like this guy who was a lab experiment. So I think the black and white helped with the visual effects of this character, that obviously they have to do practical effects back in this time and with this budget, but it didn't work for me. So hopefully there's not any other black and white episodes going forward, but I think that's why they did it, to kind of give it this Dr. Frankenstein type of feel. But I don't know. I'm enjoying it still, regardless. So, all right, Spike's Family.
So, on my train ride down to New York City, I do what I basically do every New York City trip is, hey, there's a lot of manga that I'm behind on. Let me catch up. Uh, and Spy Family was one of them. I think like Witch Watch, Hematen, uh, what the heck, Sakamoto Days. There's a couple other ones as well. Whereas, and when I say behind, it's like about 10 chapters behind on each one. Uh, in Spy Family, usually it's because I'll hit like one of those in between chapters that I'm just like, oh, I'm not really in the mood to read this, kind of thing right now. And since I'm reading so many manga, it's usually sometimes better for some of these for me to read a bunch of it at once and then don't read it for a little bit and then read a bunch of it at once. Because if you're reading like a new chapter of like 20 different manga week by week, they start all to like they start all getting like mixed up in your head. But I gotta say, I stopped reading Spy Family at the worst possible time. No real. I'm gonna try my best not to spoil anything here, but there's a moment I've been waiting for in this show, and a moment that I was worried about because I wasn't sure how they were gonna execute it. Because I was like, how are you gonna make me believe this? And it worked very well when they did it. Uh, I had been looking forward to this moment, and I think the way they went about it was probably the best they could have done it. I believed that it could happen the way that it happened, and I'm very excited for where the mangas are going to go from here because, like I said, it's really hard to say without getting really without saying what it is. But if you've been putting off reading Spy Family for a little bit and you're behind by like 10 or so chapters, you gotta get reading it because there's some really good stuff that's coming up. Some really exciting things, and I don't know. It put a big smile on my face where I was like, I didn't. I was very unsure if they were going to be able to pull it off, and they did,
Nice.
and that made me very happy.
Okay.
Alrighty, so I watched this video. There's a streamer I watched, Maximilian Dude. I got introduced to him because he's like, oh, my number one game of all time is Final Fantasy VII. During COVID lockdown, he played through 7 Remake, and that's kind of what made me fall in love with the game more because I had no nostalgia for the game. This guy, he's played the game like he's like you, Dan. He played the game like 50 times. It's favorite game of all time. And being
He
able
looks
to
like he's got to be older than me, right? Or he's just had
Oh
a rough.
yeah, he's like 40 something,
Okay.
I think.
Any number with a 4 in
Probably
front's definitely
Probably
older
like
than me.
35, 40. I believe he's more closer to 40 though. And that's why I don't watch his streams consistently, but I watch a lot of his videos talking about the industry, and especially I watch all his Final Fantasy stuff because I don't know, you can just tell like he really likes the stuff and is really entertaining him listening to him talk about these things. But he did this video talking about Capcom because there was an interview where they sat down with the person who used to be like one of the head developers at Capcom, who like was the guy who directed Devil May Cry 5. And there was one other game that he worked on for them before he left he left Capcom to work on his own thing. And part of the things that he addresses in this video is it's like, a complaint that I've had about Capcom, where it's like, why haven't we had a Devil May Cry 6? Why haven't we had a new Ace Attorney game? You know what? There's all these Capcom franchises that they're just not doing anything with. And it's like, why not? Like, the only thing that they really seem to be focusing on getting stuff out for consistently is Monster Hunter. And that's, I mean, maybe there's a couple
Resident Evil.
Yeah, sorry, and Resident Evil. So it's like Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, people be eating good all the time with those series. When's the last Mega Man game that came out? I think I was talking about this with my friend. It was like 10 years ago or something, Mega Man 11 came out. What? Why is it that we're seeing like, oh, Ace Attorney, there's a new game coming out, it's a collection of the old games. Mega Man, there's a new game coming out, it's a collection of the old games. Why aren't we getting consistent new games from these series? And I would just say, like, if you want kind of like an answer to that and a little more of an insider look, especially from the guy who headed a lot of these projects. He has a lot of good insights into it, and I found this very eye-opening, and that's why I just wanted to, talk about this video on the podcast here, because as somebody who is interested in like game companies and why aren't they making the games that I'm looking forward to, you might get some answers here.
Oh,
Then,
Summer Games Fest. I didn't know if you had something on that.
Well, yeah. So, it was Summer Games Fest, GamesCon, and what really made me do it is the Nintendo Direct. Is I finally watched the Nintendo Direct, and then I was like, they referenced something from GamesCon, so I was like, I never watched that. Let me go back and watch that. And then they referenced something from Summer Games Fest. I was like, I never watched that. Let me go watch that. And so I got to see for the first time the Resident Evil 9 trailers, like all the way through. Plus a lot of the other, games that they revealed during these live events. And I gotta say, there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. We've talked about some of the highlights from these when they came out, because I think, Dan, you kind of went through more of them. I just want to mention, I finally went through them, watched them all, and I'm a little bit more excited about things to come, especially after the Nintendo Direct. They might actually make me buy, not make me, but get me to want to buy a Switch 2 before the end of the year. We'll see what happens there. But I did, because I did see the announcement, I did buy just to have it, the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Remake Intergrade. So I was like, why not? Let's see how that game, runs on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I forgot to put my coming soon stuff, or like stuff that I'm going to be doing in.
Yeah, what do you got?
I will be talking about Alien Earth. The final episode drops next week, Tuesday. I can't wait to talk about this show because I think I first talked about it after the first episode or so aired, and I liked it, but that was kind of where it's at. This is a show where it's gotten better and better, basically, with every single episode. And I'm very excited to talk about this show once it comes to an end. I'm a little worried about how they might end it, but the things they have done with it so far, especially episode 5, where I'm just like, this is what I've been asking for out of the Alien franchise for years now, and we're finally getting it. It's like, why did it take this long? But yeah, that's coming up. I'll talk more about that. Final episode's going to be dropping. And then I think there's some movie that came out. Is it Him?
The Long Walk. Oh, Him. I'm definitely not seeing that crap.
Nope, I heard bad
Jesus.
stuff about it, but I've heard really good stuff about The Long Walk. I do want to watch that one. So I'll probably try and watch that.
Yeah, The Long Walk is Stephen King and Mark Hamill, who are both deranged lunatics, so I'll probably buy a ticket to Demon Slayer or the other one there, or Conjuring, and go see that, because I don't want to give them any of my money. They're both actually insane.
So I do want to see that movie. I think that's all that's coming out soon. I saw a trailer for The Strangers Part Chapter 2, and I was like, after how awful Chapter 1 was, no thank you.
That Chapter 2, which is a something I fall victim to every time. Chapter 2 looks decent. It doesn't look like the same old nonsense, so maybe I'll try it. For me, I don't really have. I did not like it. It was just a replay of the other ones. I think I talked about it on here when it came out, but it wasn't very.
The trailers, you're watching the trailers, like, this could actually be good, and then it came out, you're like,
well, oh yeah. Well, I think I went into the trailer, was like, this looks alright. I guess I'll go see it. Regal Unlimited pass, so.
And then the movie sucked.
Most of these movies I would not be seeing if I didn't have this.
Oh yeah, true.
But for me, AEW All Out is tomorrow. WWE did WWE things, and they booked an entire show to go head to head with it. WWE also announced that their WrestleMania for the first time will not be in North America. Actually, in America. It's never been in Canada. It's not going to England. England wants All Out. Or England wants WrestleMania. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Oh, WWE. How scummy are you? All for that Saudi Arabian oil dollar.
Yeah, the only quote-unquote WWE thing I watch every year is Dead Meat they do a what the heck's the thing where like wrestlers will go into the ring like once every like minute.
Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble. They do a Royal Rumble in the like the WWE video game, but they like character create like horror characters, and they'll pretend like it's a like, wrestling match between the horror characters, and see like who
That's
wins.
fun.
That's a fun thing. That's the only WWE thing that I find fun. Everything you've talked about, like with their business practices, just seems super scummy and corporate, and it's just like I want nothing to do with that.
So
like, in the real
what
world,
I'm doing
stuff seems way more interesting and fun.
If I'm AEW, what I'm doing is I book a show the same day as WrestleMania, give them a taste of their own medicine, and I put it right in America. Put in like St. Louis or something, you know, somewhere more centralized to where everyone around the country could fly in, and you do a stadium show. And you say, you want to take your show over there and get your Saudi oil money? Go ahead. But anyways, the AEW All Out card looks fantastic, especially this one here. Copeland and Cage, who have been wrestling for 25 years, easy. They're back together for the first time since I don't even know when. So if you see this picture here, the guy with the cutoff sleeve shirt, he's a douchebag. And his buddy, who's a good guy, it's kind of a nice dynamic because Christian, the guy with the sweat turtleneck or whatever the hell it is, he's a complete dick, and he's teaming up with the guy who's like the fan-loved babyface guy. So he's every time he gets next to him, he makes that like angry face just to make fun. It's a lot of fun. They're both from Toronto. They're both born in Toronto, and that's where AEW All Out is. So their first match, actually it's their second match, will be in their hometown, so it should be a lot of fun.
You talk about wrestling. Did you hear about that event where that streamer like beat up like a local wrestler? Like punched him in the face like 17 times, and the guy got sent to the hospital, and he had so many broken bones in his face. I was like, that is
it was
crazy to me. Like he was like the son of like a popular boxer or something, right?
Son of former UFC champion Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Yeah, Rampage.
The guy who was the wrestler thought that, so Rampage's son showed up, and the guy thought that he was like a wrestler, so they wanted to do an angle. An angle is like where it's a thing that kicks off a story. So the guy's the wrestler guy,
name, right? Like he actually
he's
name.
Yeah, he smacked a fake beer can over his head, and Quentin Rampage Jackson's son, I'm gonna call him Alice for this one because he's a pansy. Alice Jackson, he decides to take it seriously. When they explain to Psycho Stu, hey, he's not a worker. A worker is a wrestler who's in on the gimmick. Psycho Stu apologizes to him
like 4 times.
Then Alice has like 30 minutes. They're like, okay, let's turn this into something. You'll come in, you'll do some,
body slam.
You'll get involved. Yeah. He body slams him, knocks him out with the body slam, and proceeds to punch him 20 plus unanswered times, sends him to the hospital. So hopefully this piece of trash is in jail. An old clip of Quentin Jackson came up where he said he has 3 children. 2 of them he set aside college funds for. The other one he set aside bail money for. Who do you think the child that he set aside bail money for was?
Alex.
This idiot. Yeah, Alice. He is a complete danger to society. He needs to be removed from society, because the point that I always thought was, if it wasn't Psycho Stu, he'd probably flip out on the cashier at Wendy's or someone at the gas station. Like, and this person doesn't need to be in society.
And
incompatible.
Because I think like last week Psycho Stu was able to go home, where it's just like he was taking pictures, and the thing was like, after what happened to him, for him to be able to like recover from that just shows, like, I don't know, like I heard that story and I was like, that is insane to me that you would take that much of a beef because of something that somebody did on accident, and then they apologize to you like 3 times afterwards. And it's like,
Yeah,
nah,
sincere apology.
I'm gonna try to murder this guy. Because if it wasn't for the fact that people pulled him off, like, probably would have killed him.
Yeah. And the
Like,
thing is, the reason that even if he thought it was fake, or if he thought that he was able to do what he wanted, if you have the mindset that if someone is unconscious and you're going to continually pummel them, that is the type of person, I don't care what the situation is. If you're in a fist fight, somebody just came up and slapped your wife across the face. If you knock him out and then proceed to mount and punch him until, if he's out cold, it's over. It's done.
Yeah. I think people even said, like, if he had punched him in response to the can crashing, people probably would have been a little bit more understanding. But it's like,
yes,
they apologized like 4 times, and like 2 hours went by, and you could tell that was like premeditated. I'm going to try to kill this person.
Yes, if he would have responded to the can smack with a punch, 0 people on this planet would have complained.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't know what was going on, then that's fine. That's a normal retaliation. Yeah. But once you slam him and you knock him out, his arms are at his side, and then you punch him just relentlessly. And it took so long for the other people to come in because, especially the people behind him, because you don't know he's throwing real punches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you think it's worked.
You're not sure what's going on. You're like, this isn't what we planned for, but maybe it's just kind of a little bit of added. But then it's just like, oh no, he's literally like, after like the 15th punch, it's like something crazy is going here. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent. You just started talking, and like that reminded me of that story, and I was like, that was insane. I could not believe that. Where it's like, how is this person not in jail yet? Like at the time when I read it, like a week. When I read it, it was like a week after it happened, and I think like he wasn't in jail or something. Still, and it's like, how? That is insane to me that didn't happen.
Oh, finally! So 1 hour ago, Yahoo put up that he's been arrested.
Crazy. Like this thing happened. Yeah, this thing happened like 2-3 weeks ago, and he's only getting arrested now, like August 23rd. That is crazy.
Almost a month. Yeah. I'm going to keep calling him Alice.
Yeah. I won't remember that person's name.
All right, well, I think that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think down below, and we'll catch you guys later.
Peace.